Hello and welcome back to another episode of Moon Catching with Erica. I am Erica, your fertility nutritionist, and today we are going to be talking about whether or not your life is soft enough for strong fertility. Are you living a soft enough life to support strong fertility? And I have 3 questions for you to ask yourself to figure it out. So let's get into it. But yeah, trying to give you all more support and just kind of help shift some of our thinking around the space of low fertility and, is it possible to change your fertility? Which, by the way, the answer is yes. How is it possible? And what can you be doing on a daily basis to make sure that you are participating and encouraging and supporting your healthy and strong fertility? So today I wanted to talk to you about the soft life for fertility. I feel like that's been going around a lot. Are you living the soft life? Because a lot of us aren't. Life be lifing, and it can definitely, it just be a lot sometimes. And so, when we think about fertility, we want to just make sure that we are giving ourselves the best support possible, putting ourselves in the best position possible to support our fertility. So today we're going to be talking about what I'm thinking are some of the keys to living a soft life. And I'm going to give you 3 questions to ask yourself. Are you living a soft life that is supporting your fertility? So that is what we are going to be talking about on today's little fertility chat. So I hope this is something that can help you. And I just kind of wanted to start with the thought that even though you probably have never considered it, as far as your body is concerned, reproduction and pregnancy and fertility is actually a luxury. And that's really because it is not a requirement, a necessity for function, for health. It is not a requirement, a necessity to live, right? Your body can be sustained even if you aren't reproductively healthy. And so it's a luxury. It's just this extra thing, this kind of bonus thing, like, hey, we can do it, that's cool. If not, I'm not sure, we're just not going to be able to do that. So that's how your body is viewing those things. So again, it's not a primary function for survival, right? Your body definitely is all about self-preservation, and decisions are being made, internally. Decisions are being made on how best to keep this vessel alive and well. And our body is making those decisions, thankfully, on our behalf. But of course, if we were in the driver's seat, we would do anything probably to get pregnant. We would do anything for our fertility. We would do anything to try to have that baby. And so if we were in the driver's seat, we may be making different decisions like, no. I don't need a spleen. We don't need to work on that. I want to support my womb health. So unfortunately, we are not in control of how our body is moving and grooving and making those decisions. So again, it goes against our own emotional logic, but it is just the nature of Mother Nature, of how our bodies are wired, right? So how do you get your heart and your body and your mind and all that on the same page? How do you make sure that everything and everyone is working together, working in synergy? Okay, we're on the same page. We all want the same thing. So how do we make sure that you can? It's almost like, how do you convince your body to get pregnant? How can you convince, of course, speaking to those of us who have been struggling, those of us who have low fertility, those of us who it's taking longer for us to conceive. How do you convince your body that no, let's do this, let's get pregnant, let's stay pregnant? And so it's almost like you need to convince your body that there are enough resources, because you have to convince your body that it's safe. Pregnancy is certainly makes you vulnerable. Pregnancy certainly puts you at a disadvantage in some cases, because pregnancy is so hard on your body. Pregnancy takes a lot of resources and energy and nutrients. Ask anyone who's been pregnant. If you've been pregnant before, you know that it can take you out, okay? It can wipe you out. And So yes, you need to make sure your body feels safe. Your body feels safe and secure to know that, okay, everything is going smooth. The C's are smooth. Nothing crazy is going on. And we can continue to support this pregnancy. We continue to support reproduction. So that's when the luxury aspect comes into place. Okay, there's enough to go around. There's enough to still keep normal function going and still be able to spare, nutrients and energy and all of that to a healthy growing, baby, to healthy growing placenta and to support a healthy pregnancy. So how do you convince your body that it's safe? So I thought of 3 questions that you should be asking yourself as someone who maybe is struggling to get pregnant or stay pregnant. These are 3 questions you should be asking yourself. Is your life soft enough? Do you have a soft life for fertility? Because your body needs to feel that everything is cool, calm, and collected to be able to get and stay pregnant. So the first question I thought of, and some of them are actually kind of simple. The first question that you should be asking yourself is, am I nourished? Am I taking care of myself? Am I feeding myself? Am I eating enough? Am I eating well? Am I eating healthy? Because, certainly working with clients in the nutrition space, I definitely, I don't know, you talk to people and we, maybe it's just human nature, we definitely overestimate ourselves. I don't know. I eat this and this and normally the sentence is, I eat pretty well, I don't know what's going on, I feel like my diet is pretty healthy, I feel like I eat pretty well. That's normally the sentence that I get. That's normally like the phrase, right? That we all just feel like, no, this is good. This is good enough, right? And we just overestimate our health. And so a lot of times, or for all of my clients, I have them do a nutrition questionnaire. Nutrition frequency questionnaire, and basically just goes over like how often do you have certain food items? Is it daily, weekly, or monthly, or like rarely? And there definitely are times when someone verbally tells me I eat fruits and vegetables every day, etc. And then when they go to fill out their questionnaire, they have to select, okay, is it daily? How many times a day? And you realize like, oh, maybe it's not as often as I think, or maybe it's a one-off, maybe the quantities aren't there where it should be. So just something like that, and of course, when we're talking about nutrition is the building blocks of everything, building blocks of life, building blocks of our health and our function. It is the foundation of, I did a presentation a while ago and I titled it Nutrition for Self-Care. Nutrition is the ultimate form of self-care. You are literally eating and fueling your body and your tissues and your organs and your systems and your fertility and your reproductive organs, and fueling your eggs. Like you're feeding your body the things that we are consuming, right? So it is the baseline for function. So if you're feeling off here, if you're having this disorder here, you're having this, it's all about, okay, how is your body being able to, what are the inputs that your body is getting? What are the inputs that your body is getting to be able to, perform all these tasks, internally perform all these tasks and have all these pathways and the signals and, the way that your kidneys function and your liver function, that requires building blocks. That requires pieces. This piece goes here and this piece matches up here. And you have this reaction that causes all these wonderful, great things, inside your body that we need for health. So it is literally something as simple as, how's my nutrition? Am I eating enough? Because even a lot of times, as women, we tend to undereat. That is, and this happens a lot even with someone who maybe is a little overweight. Surprisingly, on an average day, there, a lot of people are like binge eating every day or just having like crazy calories every day. On average, we tend to undereat. And that puts our body in a defensive state where, your body's not sure, okay, where are all the nutrients? Where's all the food? Where's all the calories? Where's all the fat and the protein and the carbs and the antioxidants? Where are all these pieces that I need? And so if you are under eating, you're most likely calorie deficient, and also, so your diet is probably most likely calorie poor and nutrient poor. Your body can't do nothing with that. And if it is certainly conserving what you are giving it to keep your heart pumping, keep your brain moving, keep your, keep your limbs moving, like keep you moving, literally. Like your body is using that for the bare minimum, right? Which goes back to what I was saying, like there isn't enough to go around to support a healthy pregnancy. Or some people, as you know, I've always talked about, I suffered 2 miscarriages. So even if sometimes someone is able to get pregnant, your body still is like, okay, we're struggling here. And in some cases, in some cases of miscarriage, your body will make the decision of, so the myth is that babies are parasites and they suck everything from you. That's not true. Your body, again, self-preservation. Your body is going to choose you first every time. Again, we may make different decisions, but the idea that, so the point is that your body will say, okay, between the two of us, meet mama and baby, there's enough to go around. Your body will choose to save you. And so sometimes spontaneous abortions can happen, spontaneous miscarriage can happen, if your body isn't being cared for well enough to support two beings in one body. That's a lot. And so, simple question. Am I eating enough? Am I eating well? Is my diet as healthy as I think that it is? What can I be doing? What areas can I be focusing on to, to boost it, get a little bit more here, a little bit more oomph. People oftentimes skip breakfast. Maybe you're having coffee instead of breakfast. You say something like, oh, I'm not really normally hungry. I don't have an appetite for breakfast. I don't let most of my clients get away with that. We do end up pushing it and saying, okay, no, eventually, we're going to have to start getting you to eat breakfast. Because again, 24 hour, you're not eating 24 hours, in one day you have to get in a certain amount of calories. And a lot of times if you're missing a whole meal, how are you going to make up those calories later in the day? You probably aren't. And I don't support or encourage from my clients to do intermittent fasting. So it is the thought that, breaking your fast, finding the fuel, starting your day, you do need something to start. So just something like that. Just keep things like that in mind. Like, something as simple as how often are you eating? What are you eating? Okay, moving on to question number 2. Question number 2. When you are basically assessing yourself, doing a little quick self-assessment. Is my body and is my health in distress? Asking yourself, again, how healthy am I? And it's kind of one of those things, again, like especially as women, especially as Black women, we've learned a long time ago, or through life's ups and downs, we've learned how to endure. We've learned how to kind of grit and bear it. We've learned how to just push through, just push through. And a lot of times, if we're wives and mothers or whatever, we put ourselves on the back burner. There's not a lot of time for me time. And including in that me time may be, getting to the bottom of this. I've been dealing with X, Y, or Z. I just haven't really gotten to the doctor, or I went to the doctor, but I didn't really do what I was supposed to do. Whatever the scenario is where we have inadvertently chosen to deny our health and to deny, how well we're taking care of ourselves. Again, the self-care aspect of all of this, right? And so is your body in distress? As life happens and we get busy, we start to accept these things as, we just start to accept things, and it just becomes normal for us. Like, yeah, that happens to me, or yeah, I go through that a lot, or yeah, that happens every month, but ... whatever. It just kind of gets brushed under the rug or overlooked, and we just accept it. And, month after month, year after year, we still are dealing with this thing, right? And it can be completely separate from, our fertility. We may have, decent cycles. We have decent, a decent weight. You know, we have all these things that we have kind of put as like the stamp of, you know, the stamp of health, without realizing that other things like acne or allergies or like really like small things can be very insidious. And so and you know, those are just the simple ones. So what if your periods are off? What if you're dealing with aches and pains? What if you're having some crazy hair loss, which was me? What if you're having, you know, low energy or low sex drive? Or what if your digestion is really crazy and you're always dealing with bloating, or you're always dealing with headaches or migraines, right? These are some of the, and then of course some of those are like directly like red flag hormone imbalance, right? But the point is that these are just kind of like mirroring or reflecting your overall health, the overall picture of your health. Because a healthy body is a fertile body. I'm gonna make a t-shirt or a mug or something. But a healthy body is a fertile body, right? And so how do you support low fertility in a body that is in distress in other ways? How do you get those two to match? Like, or, you know, if you're dealing with both, it's like, okay, you're dealing with both. You know what I mean? Like, you're having low fertility over here, and then you're actually having your body's in distress in all these other ways. So they're kind of like both trying to get your attention, technically, which is how your body talks to you, right? Your body speaks in only one language, and that language is through symptoms. Signs and symptoms is your body saying like, hey, you know, we need some help over here. Okay, I'm kind of struggling. We're struggling. You're struggling. This is a symptom that I'm giving you. You know, if we had like a bug bite or itch, like that thing is red and it's inflamed and it's big and it's swollen and whatever. It's like, hello, I need some. Can we, you know, deal with this? And so something is not as obvious, you know, as skin. The surface of your skin, of course, is internal. It's our organs. It's our systems. It's our function. But again, it's your body is telling you that you're off of your alignment, you're off of how your true function, your true body, your true form should be. And how do you get your body to say that, okay, I don't want to be in distress. I know that pregnancy is a luxury. I know that pregnancy isn't going to happen if my body is struggling to survive, you know, and we may not see it that way because we get up every morning, we go to work, we do this, but on a, you know, microcellular, you know, level inside internally, your body's in distress, your body is struggling on a daily basis, and we have these symptoms that we are ignoring or, you know, kind of downplaying. But this is really your body saying, okay, this is, you know, level 1, then it goes to level 2, and then level 3, and level 4. You know, your body, the symptoms, the dial kind of cranks up. Right? You can imagine like these scenarios, right? When we put things off and don't address them. But at the same time, your fertility is also, your low fertility is also a sign and symptom of probably the same root cause. The same issue is showing up in multiple places, right? So until your body feels safe, until your body feels taken care of, a lot of times for us, our fertility, our reproduction is a bonus. Like, I'm not, you know, your body's like, I'm not going through that. We're not doing that. I'm struggling over here to keep you alive, to keep you glued together. I know better than to, you know, I know pregnancy is not an option right now. Supporting a healthy pregnancy is not an option because that's going to take way too many nutrients and energy and all that, and you're not eating enough. You're not taking care of yourself enough. So how are we going to do that? So that was number 2. Asking yourself, is your body and your health in distress? So that was the second question. What was I going to say? Oh, one more point I wanted to make too. Like things like if you're getting sick all the time, right? That's your body telling you, okay, you need to slow down. If you are feeling tired all the time, that's your body telling you need to sit down, right? So these are even just day-to-day signs that, you know, if you're just dealing with these things that we accept, but it's really your body trying to communicate to you that what you're giving me, what you're doing, what we are doing isn't enough for health. And health is fertility. Fertility is health, right? So the third and final question that you should be asking yourself, if you do indeed have a soft life, is your life soft enough for fertility? The last question I won't say that you need to ask is is my body under stress? Is my body under stress? Another way to think of that is, again, I think the best way is, again, it comes back to that feeling of being safe. It comes back to your body feeling like, is this a good time for us to be pregnant? Is this a good time to be pregnant? Because it is a risk to, extend those resources, extend those nutrients, extend that energy to that developing, growing baby, which, babies it takes a lot to grow a human being from two tiny cells, right? Teeny tiny. It's like the size of a period at the end of a sentence, right? Two tiny cells to a huge baby, right? You can imagine the immense, abundant amount of resources, right? So is your body under stress? Because there's a very strong indirect connection to your stress levels and your fertility levels. And because the problem is that part of our systems is part of our stress response. It's part of our, it gives you the fight, flight, or they say freeze, flight, fright, or freeze response, right? Physically, your body feels like when you're stressed about traffic, when you're stressed about a deadline, when you're stressed, your body doesn't distinguish between you're being chased by a lion. Your body feels like, oh, we must be under attack, because your hormones are just, there's only one pathway for those hormones to go. And, the idea is that the way that we have evolved, we normally are fighting for our lives. In 2023, we're not fighting for our lives. We are just, basically struggling to keep our head above the water, but your body can't discern those two, right? So when you are stressed out about work all the time, stressed out about your finances, stressed out about your marriage, your body is internalizing it only one way, and that's danger, danger, danger. And so when we can't control and manage and get those, one of the main hormones is your cortisol hormone. When we can't control and manage our cortisol hormone and we're on like high alert all the time, it goes back to the safety thing. Your body doesn't feel safe. There must be a lion or tiger somewhere around here. We can get pregnant right now. So your body is, again, self-preservation. Right now, we need all our energy to, be diverted to running fast and our heart beating fast and, all those things, right? There's not enough to spare to support your uterine lining and egg health and ovarian health. We don't have time for that. And this is just you being stressed out about a deadline. This is you being stressed out perpetually about maybe a job that is, you're not in a job that you like, or you're not in a marriage that you like. I don't know. You're not in a relationship that you like, or just having family stress, or other things in your health are stressing you out, or your parents' health are stressing you out. Whatever it is, whatever this external source of stress is, the big one I'm missing is your fertility. Ironically, that's like a sliding, like a tipping scale, right? Your fertility, yes, will certainly stress you out. But until we can manage that, your body is definitely, the hormones that are circulating and being released into your body, those are definitely hormones that are telling you that, your body is telling you that this isn't safe right now. And so are you under stress even internally? So there is another idea that we do have external stress, right? That's what we always talk about. Oh, girl, I'm stressed. That's external stress. But then we also have internal stress. And this comes from our body basically managing the bombardment of toxins and things that are damaging to our cells and things that are damaging to our health. We were built, of course, to be able to manage this, right? We are not that fragile, right? We wouldn't have made it this far. We would all be in bubbles somewhere. But, your body is built to be able to manage and handle those things. But if there is something going on where there is an unusual amount of input of toxins, or unusual sluggishness to the amount the way that the toxins are being removed. If there's a lot of oxidative stress, we talk about antioxidants all the time. Make sure you're getting your antioxidants. I think pomegranates had like their day in the sun for a while. What else was like a good antioxidant? Turmeric is a good one, but I'm trying to think of ones that were trendy. Acai berries were trendy for a while. Anyway, the point is that those are antioxidants. Those are the things that are supposed to protect you, protect your cells, protect us from cancer, protect us from, just the damage and the deterioration within our health, within our bodies, right? And so if we don't have enough of the good stuff, the antioxidants, the pro-oxidants, the ones that are damaging, those things will get in there and start damaging and deteriorating and destroying our cells. And your eggs are nothing but cells. Your eggs are, they're the biggest cells that we have, but they're just a cell. They're part of your cellular buildup in your body. And you're born with, 1 million of them. But we don't have 1 million of them left at this point. They've been being destroyed all along. And so we do want to preserve and conserve what we do have left, right? So the point specifically when we're talking about fertility is that we know that, it's a losing battle. We know we are all, menopause is out there waiting for us somewhere. And that is when there aren't enough eggs left, right? So right now, we do still have eggs. There's still a chance. We're still in the game, right? But we want to preserve that. That's why age-related infertility is such a big thing, because, that there is a ticking clock, but we want to be able to slow it down. Your lifestyle, your habits, your nutrition, your sleep, all those things can actually speed up the clock. You probably have seen someone who oh, she doesn't really look good for her age, or, she looks, I don't know why I said it like that, that's so rude, but, someone just looks old for the age, or, they're just not aging well, or, whatever, because they've been living a very harsh and hard life. And so that's just maybe, externally on their face, maybe they look, more haggard than they should, or whatever. But that same thing, excuse me, can be happening inside. That same thing can be happening internally. If your egg health is older than what you are, that's not a good place to be in, fertility speaking, right? You want your egg health, you want even potentially your cellular health, which your eggs are, of course, are cells, your cellular health to be younger than what you are. You want your internal health to, possibly be, that of a, I'm 39, that of a 30-year-old, that of a 35-year-old. I certainly don't want my egg health to be that of a 50-year-old, because guess what? I'm probably going to be in menopause, or, having menopause-like symptoms and menopause-like restrictions to my fertility. And so to be in a position of having the control over your day-to-day habits, your day-to-day behaviors, to protect yourself, to put yourself in a better position to preserve your fertility health, to preserve your egg health, that's where you want to be. So you need to ask yourself, am I kind of getting in my own way, so to speak? Are my habits and my practices harmful or helpful? And so stress is definitely one of the big ones, because it is so deteriorating to our internal health, to our cellular health, to our ovarian environment, to our uterine environment, to the way that our hormones can behave and respond. Our stress is one of the big ones, right? That just really gets in there and wreaks havoc. And of course, this is, again, having low fertility is stressful. So it's not just a snap your fingers and be done with it kind of thing. But, there's definitely something that we need to be considering. What am I doing to participate in this? And if our stress levels, internal and external, the things we are being bombarded with, the way that we are living our lives, the way that we have poor stress management, because we're just so, life gone life. I know that, I've been there, done that, right? Life gone life. But if we don't pause and stop and say, okay, I have to regain some control, and, as wives and mothers and I'm sure we're, you may be the boss, you probably have a lot that you are juggling on your plate, but that self-care piece is a non-negotiable. That self-care piece is really important. And so, our brain, of course, is the big part of how we are, processing stress and internalizing stress, right? And your brain is signaling, there's a name for everything, right? So it's called HPO axis, basically. And there are two parts of your brain: hypothalamus, pituitary, the H and the P, and then the O is the ovarian. So there's an axis that connects two parts of your brain with your ovaries, and these are what's releasing and triggering your FSH and your LH, and which then goes on to trigger your estrogen, which then goes on to trigger ovulation, which then goes on to trigger progesterone. So there's a trickle down effect that starts all the way in your brain. Your brain is probably the first thing on the line of defense for stress, right? And so high stress, all these internal or external high stress, you can imagine that your parts of your brain that are supposed to be releasing your fertility hormones, yeah, there's probably going to be some disruption. So when we're getting these labs back and we're not addressing our lifestyle factors, you're not addressing your stress levels and your, external things, like, it's kind of, it's a good place to start is what I'm trying to say. Like, we can't neglect or ignore those things and just kind of push through, which we're kind of so used to doing in our life. Just make it through, just push through. It'll be over soon. If we don't stop, pause, slow down, and acknowledge it and work on it, it might not be over soon. And so we do sometimes have to just slow down and give things the time that they deserve. If your body is trying to get your attention, you're having all these symptoms, your body's trying to get your attention, like, hey, I'm struggling. What you're doing isn't good enough. What you're doing isn't cutting it. So just understanding that that's your body speaking to you, and it will get louder and louder and louder. And so we want to try to catch it when it's quiet. When it's quiet, when it's a whisper, before it's like a screaming yell, and it's something that, you end up needing more. When you kind of dig yourself in that hole, the bigger the hole, it's harder to get out, is I guess what I'm trying to say. So we just want to catch things when it's still manageable. And so having issues with your cycle, these are things that are definitely manageable. These are parts and pieces of your hormones, your sex hormones, your fertility hormones. These are all things that can be snatched back. Okay, they can definitely be realigned and recentered, but it's all about you paying attention, because I can't pay attention for you. Once you are my client, I look at your charts, I look at your cycle, blah, blah, I do all that. But for you have to start paying attention. How is my body trying to communicate me? What is it saying? And how better or best can I start supporting myself more? Because, again, you want to get your body and your heart on the same page. You really, really, really are you want this baby. You want to bring that baby home, and your body is potentially denying you. And so how do you get out of your own way? How do you make sure that your habits and practices and all that, how do you make sure that all those things are aligned with your true desires? Put them on the same page. Like, you really want this? Okay, this is what you have to do to get it. And take a really good long look at yourself. And so I guess that's kind of really it. Those are my three things. 3 questions that you should be asking yourself. Like, is your life soft enough? Do you have the best self-care? Are you taking the best care possible for strong fertility? Because we're not trying to have no weak fertility. We're not trying to, get pregnant but not be able to stay pregnant. We want to have really, really strong fertility, right? And just, the idea of maybe we are getting in our own way. Maybe some things that we're doing that we kind of know, like, maybe I could do a little better, but, it's fine. It's probably not fine. And certainly when we're dealing with low fertility, we always want to find the lowest hanging fruit. Start there. It doesn't have to be rocket science. We can get the tests and we can get the labs and get all these things, but sometimes just start with the lowest hanging fruit. How, of those 3 questions, even ask yourself those 3 questions. And just consider what you are doing on a daily basis to contribute to your fertility. Because I like to just make it black and white. Either your actions and your habits and your steps and your practices and your routine is harming it or helping it. I just like to eliminate the gray area. It's either harm or hurt, harm or help, harm or help. And for some of my clients who really struggle with I just don't know where to start, I just don't know what to do, sometimes I suggest, okay, for your homework is, I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to write down your ideal daily routine. And I need you to wr So write down your ideal daily routine, and then let's see, of that routine, maybe get out a highlighter, a pen, a pencil, what do you want to do? Highlight the things that you are doing intentionally to support your fertility, to restore your fertility, to unblock your fertility. What are those things? And if you realize that there aren't a lot of things that you're highlighting, then let's start there. How do we turn those other things into fertility supporting things, fertility supporting items? How do you, kind of tip the scales? Like, the ones that aren't supporting are kind of, stronger. I mean, I guess they would be heavier. They're down here. All right, kind of heavier, stronger, not supporting your fertility. And then the ones that you think are kind of, weak and feeble. So you want to make them strong. Like, how do you get these items in this column, right? How do you get them to work for you? And so with my clients in the program, this is what we basically end up creating. By the end of the program, we want to create an ultimate fertility lifestyle. What is the ultimate fertility lifestyle that is unique for you? And that's what we work to create, because all of this is meaningless if we can't find consistency, if we can't find the frequency, if we can't find how to make it sustainable. So this isn't like a diet. It's not like a crash diet, 10 days to lose. No, it's not that. This is like the way we've been doing things isn't working. And the way that we are, society and our culture, and, we aren't taught and trained to support our health this way. And it's not ideal for fertility. The world is not built for, the current world is not built for our health, and it certainly isn't built for strong fertility. So even think about that, sometimes if we're struggling, it's not I was going to say,
One moment.
Oh, Siri, hush.
Okay.
Siri,
I found this on the web.
be quiet.
In the creative, by the end of the program, we want to create an ultimate fertility life.
Siri was recording me. How dare she? Anyway, so we want to, make sure that the way that we are living our lives is supportive for us. And right now, the world is not built for that. And so sometimes, yes, it's out of our hands, it's out of our control. The world the air is toxic. There's pollution. There's this, right? We can't control those things. But we can minimize the way it impacts us, or, in the same vein, increase the way that we are protecting ourselves from those things, right? And so just think about that. Go through your habits. Kind of write down, okay, these are the things that I think I'm doing for my fertility. Can I do more? Where can I do more? Where can I improve? If something is like, I can do a little bit better. How can you make those changes? And it's all about being sustainable. How can you make those changes for your fertility that will last you? It's not just like this immediate thing. It's not just like, oh, you're gonna get pregnant tomorrow. Like if you have to dig yourself out of a situation where your fertility has been been eaten away and kind of been deteriorating and is being blocked, it's gonna take some time to kind of find those things and clear those things out and restore yourself and restore your health. So, it is going to take a little time, but you can sit down with yourself and be honest with yourself and say, okay, I can be doing better in these areas. You only have this one life to live, this one body, right? And so we might as well be taking care of it. And a lot of times we just push and push and push, and we're not taking care of ourselves because we have to go to work and we're tired and whatever. I don't know. But it's just a matter of slowing down and really addressing our internal health, right? And so if you need help with that, this is something that I do in the program, Make Every Day Count. This is something that I do to support my clients. Just really getting out like that magnifying glass. What's another analogy? A fine-tooth comb, whichever way you want to think about it, and just really highlighting, okay, what exactly is going on with your health and your whole body health, right? And how best to make your body feel safe enough to be able to get and stay pregnant, because your body is trying to protect itself sometimes, and it's saying, now's not a good time. So how can we convince our body that it is okay, that you are safe, that you will be able to sustain this pregnancy and still manage your health, so be able to, keep you both alive, really is what it comes down to. and just make sure that you are doing the best you can. We're not aiming for perfection. We're just aiming for consistency and sustainability, and that's all we can ask for. So that is all for today's chat. Thank you so much to everyone who watched it with me, who joined with me, and I will, of course, post this to my YouTube channel, and you can rewatch it there. And I will see you next week for the next chat. Bye.